Hello and good evening, viewers, wherever you are. Welcome back to your favorite sport program called Sport 360 Live. Comes on air, of course, and screen near you every Sunday from the hour 8 to 9. And we are back again today with another wonderful one today. And I know you will enjoy today's show. I'm so excited that I am here today. And of course, as usual, I'm the host, Big Sam. And on my left right here is the one and only Mamadou B. Jallo, my co-host. Mamadou, welcome to today's edition.
Thank you. Welcome back for another episode of our 360 sport program on Atlantic TV at Brikama. I am grateful to be back here again and join with my bosses, who is Big Sam and Mamadou Gajaka.
Well, thank you very much. Just a little reminder that we are broadcasting from our studios in, of course, the Gambia, the little smiling coast of Gambia, West Africa, and our studios in the western side of Gambia, which is Farato, West Coast region. Well, already I was to unveil my guest, but already you can see my assistant have just unveiled. I was trying to keep it secret for you, but nonetheless, this is how it is. Well, I'm a Kabugan, he's a fuller, so you know he will always want to go first. But anyway, our viewers out there, ladies and gentlemen, and whoever is watching, I present to you my guest today, no other than Mamadou Gajaga of course, QTV, and of course, one of the Gambian's renowned sports journalists, and of course, an award-winning sports journalist. Gajaga, welcome to today's edition of, meanwhile, it's called Sport 360 Light on Atlantic TV, the Gambia. Gajaga.
It's a pleasure, always to be on a platform, especially sharing it with your former boss, or always your boss.
Well, you're most welcome today. Greetings.
Yes, fantastic. I'm happy to be here to talk about sports, which is our daily dose. It is what we live, it is what we eat, it's what we feel in our bodies and even in our veins as well. It's sports that we live through our life. So it's a pleasure to be here.
We drink, we eat, we sleep, and wake up with sports. That's why we always tell you, keep on sporting. There you go. That's my guest today, Gajaga. I'm so happy that he's here with me today. And remember, in today's episode, we have three things that we'll be talking about. Some we'll just browse through. One is the rescheduled replay match of the West Coast Regional Championship, which is called the West Coast Zonal Tournament. The replay is scheduled, and then we'll talk a little bit on that, especially last final. And again, we'll look at the premier, I can call it the top tier of the Gambian football, GFF, the evaluation, the league, a little bit on that. And of course, the secondary school sports called a press conference a couple of days ago as the beginning of their year with the hits going around the country, etc. And later on, we have some videos of that that will be played to you because some of the dignitaries that are there. And the final part, which I want you all to join me and watch properly. This is no other than a little bit history from my guest today, Mamadou Gajaga, from where he starts sports to his award winning. And of course, his coverage of the international, of course, tournaments, which include the Birmingham game, the Berlin one that is in Germany, and of course, of recent, that is the African Cup of Nations 2023 in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire. Well, they are in Yamoussoukro, of course, home village. That will be the final part of it. So once again, sponsors are invited. Just walk to our studios in Farato here. You will definitely have publicity, of course, visual, and as you call it, we everywhere and everywhere will be talking about it. Well, yes, Mamadou, let's give you the first part. Meanwhile, Gajaga, this is going to be three of us will be talking about all these things together. The West Coast Regional Zonal Championship final, of course, dubbed as West Coast Zonal, which was played. The first game was played on the 1st of January 2024, New Year's Day, between our former champions, who are our first edition champion, Gunjur, against the one and only the debutant and the suppressed element of that is Fonyi Zone. Well, this was played on, of course, it falls on a Monday, the 1st of January, and it went to a stalemate. Now the committee, together with the organizing committee and the executive, have been, the West Coast Zonal Championship have been checking here and there about the tiredness of some of the Navetan in Brikama, which is now done, and also the GFF League. Finally, there is a date which is with scheduled. That is no other than on the 18th February 2024, Gambia's Independence Day, live at the Brikama Box Bar Mini Stadium at 4 p.m. and tickets meanwhile still remain $50. Well, Mamadou, the date is scheduled before I get Gajaga. And I guess that's a holiday. Meanwhile, it falls on a Sunday. The following day is on Monday, but it's a public holiday, so you can go watch the game and then relax the next day. Mamadou?
I think that day will be favorable for workers, and it is going to be a game to watch, because the first time these two teams meet in that final, we saw a very, very interesting game between those two teams, who are Gunjur and Fonyi. And if the people of Gunjur know that the day is on the 18th, and the people of Fonyi also know that the day is on the 18th, they will be prepared to come back at the Brikama Mini Stadium to witness another final. And the players too will be ready to defend. Gunjur will be ready to defend the trophy, and Fonyi also will be ready to go to win for the first time, because they played the first final. There was no a winner in that final, and coming back to the final, there must be a winner on that day. And that being the case, both teams will be fully prepared, because they know if I lose or I made any mistake that day, it will be enough for me. So they will be fully prepared for that final, Big Sam.
Well, I think they have to be, because already we told you we have already unveiled the date for them. So I guess whatever they need to do is, because I know they've been training together, so it's on the 18th. I mean, they get the message, because I think the organizing committee, after the date was already scheduled, they wrote to both teams and the executive to inform them. So they are informed. So whatever they need to do, they will do that. So meanwhile, after that game, the first game, the coaches talked about it. The Fonyi coach said, because they performed below par, and then he said thousands of people, most of his players play under the crowd that they've never played. So that might cause some kind of distractions. And then for Gunjur said they will go back to them, because I think Gunjur coach is one of the most experienced coach. And then Gunjur have been in this competition since, and they're a team. So all of them need to go back. But Gataga, this is the first time I engage you on this. You watched the first final. A little bit on that, the captivating part, the game part, and then already, as I informed them, it's on the 18th February on a Sunday at Boxbar Minister. But first, take us through to your own experience of the first edition, the final that was on the 1st of January.
Yeah, I'm from Brikama. It's a shame I missed the previous editions, the finals. But that final, the first one between Gunjur and Fonyi, that was a spectacle. The Box Bar Mini Stadium on that day, I think I would only compare it to the crowd when Brikama played against Esperance, the Tunis, in 2012 for the CAF Champions League preliminaries, or against US Wakam. So if you look at the crowd, the atmosphere, how it was like, it was a beautiful occasion. And I thought in the game, at least there could be a winner, there could be like goals galore, Gunjur would score, Fonyi would also score, but eventually there's going to be a winner. So unfortunately, yes, when the game was over, there was no penalty shootout. People started asking questions, because others, they had to come all the way from Fonyi, others also from Gunjur. Some, remember, rented cars to come and watch their favorite team play. But unfortunately, the rules are the rules. You cannot bend the rules.
No.
Yeah, if it says after the first final, if there is no winner, it's going to be a replay, no penalty shootouts, then that's the case. But this time around, no matter what happens, even if the floodlights wouldn't come on because of Nawek, what we are going to do is we are going to light the stadium with our mobile phones. There must be a winner this time around.
Yeah.
So that makes it very, very interesting.
Yeah.
So looking forward to it. I think, like you said, both teams have learned their lessons. The Fonyi coach talks about nervousness in his players because of the crowd. This is the first time they've played under such an atmosphere. So I think he would correct that. At least they got the first experience. Nobody expect them to be nervous for the second time. For Gunjur, you know, they've been champions before. They would want to repeat it again. They want at least to continue with that glory. But for Fonyi, I think the onus lies on them to prove a point, because definitely the people of Fonyi would want to see that they have the opportunity to win this trophy for the first time. Big Sam. Looking forward to a great final on the 18th again.
Of course, like the chairman of the TRRC said, even hell frozen. So there will be, there must be a winner on that day. Well, Gajaga, you talked about it because I think the organizing committee, okay, for Brikama Sports Committee, it is there. And most of the sport, when the league, especially the league, when it went to a stalemate, there's a replay. Okay, in the last AGM of the West Coast Zone, it was not captured, but it was like something flexible that you can communicate. Okay, before the final, it was communicated to both two teams. That's why you see at the end of the game there was nothing from both teams. So
it's like the technical meetings that happen prior to football matches, finals also, where both teams are called on a meeting that okay, in case when we have this, you know, this is what we are going to do and all of that.
Exactly. So it was communicated to that team. Well, like you said, the crowd must be a bit disappointed, but you cannot extend that to any of the people that came there, because it is a team that matters. Of course, you have to tell them, should it go to a stalemate, we're going to replay, and everybody agreed. So that's why it is brilliant. So like I said, it is going to be on the 18th, and we're bracing for the final. What's your most take of that final?
Well, Big Sam,
the first edition.
Yes, I'll still have to go. I think the crowd, the atmosphere was great, and both set of supporters displayed, you know, their love and support for their various teams in the way they dressed, the way they cheered up their team. For me, the fans definitely thumbs up to them on that day.
And at the moment, for you, what is your take?
The discipline during the final was superb.
Okay.
Because we did not see any chaos during the final.
Okay. So it was well, man. Well, I think those are some of the worst, Gajaga. We talk to the people, because the West Coast Zonal Championship have about 3 components. One is, which I think the chairman was here, Mr. Bojan, thank you for coming on this platform, that is to recruit to have new talent, to uncover new talent, so that they can also be in the Navetan teams, in the second division, in the fourth, which a massive exodus of this young talent have. According to the records, you know, both of him and the organizing committee head, Ganso, were here. They said that was one, to recruit new talent. 2 is to bring the people of West Coast, which is very important, to gel together, to know that West Coast is bigger than you and me and the zones. So let's try to have that discipline and coincidence, which I think Mohammed said, I think that's emanated from the first final. And last but not the least is about the monetary term. We know there's no sponsor, but at least the gate takings, a little they can have, they give it to the team so that they can also prepare them for their own, what do you call, football jamborees or festivals, so that they can help. So basically, Gajaga, I think the disciplinary part comes together for the gelling of people of West Coast region.
Which is fantastic. Football is the game that unites people. And I think for that purpose, it's been organized. It really fits the reason why it was organized. And then talking about, you know, scouting for talents. You know, you look at this competition, most of the players who play there have not played in the first, second division. So this is an opportunity for them to showcase their talent. And, you know, those teams in the first and second division and third division will scout them. And once they are scouted, they play in those competitions. Who knows? They might get the opportunity to go professional one day if they continue training and then giving their best. And, you know, having the people of West Coast region coming to contribute their quota, because those gate takings, if it shares among the teams have their part. They can buy jerseys, they can buy balls, they can continue to support those players, which is very, very good. I think this is a fantastic idea. Wherever it came from, it's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
And teams also can help their players whenever a player is struggling for football boots.
Exactly. And that's what you talked about. They can have some monetary time to at least send it. So, well, we just browsing. Meanwhile, that replay match between Gunjur, former champions, and the debutant, the surprise element Fonyi, is scheduled for on the 18th February. It falls on a Sunday, 2024. Gambia's Independence Day. Well, meanwhile, happy Independence Anniversary in advance to all the Gambians wherever you are. And meanwhile, it's 4 p.m. at the Brikama Box Bar Minister. We call it the Theatre of Entertainment Center of Gambian Football. And meanwhile, tickets, all the gates are $50. So you try to be there. Thank you so much. Yes, Gajaga, coming to our second region, Mamadou, is the Gambia First Division games. Well, like we repeat it here, it kind of take a revolution. Well, nowadays we see a lot of Gambians attached to these games, wherever they are playing, especially at the Brikama Box Bar Mini Stadium. People come out. I mean, I discussed this thing with Amadou Oba, a media officer at DFF, that the revolution take place. But I think it's the passion. The people get it. I mean, days ago, people it's just like training. People don't even watch Gambian football. It's only zonals and now time. So people come, it's just like training. But that trend, the narrative have been changed now. And I think you also take a little bit of that. And you also following that. What's your take of the Gambian National First Division and maybe second also?
Big Sam, I've not been watching that much. Some of the few matches that I've watched, especially Brikama. Brikama, even if you organize a friendly match, people will come. Yes. Talk less of the First Division. People love their First Division team. Even though Brikama United is not doing well. I think they're in the relegation zone. They've not been doing well in this year's First Division League. But the passion, the love, and the sense of belonging that people see in the First Division, especially when it comes to certain teams like Brikama. Also, Big Sam, I will take this connection to the national team.
Okay.
So when you look at our national team, Musa Barrow used to play for Hawks. Hassan Cisse used to play for Gamtel.
Yeah.
So you name them. You know, players like Yusuf Abob also used to play in the league. So you name those players, you look at them where they started, and this is where they began their football at the amateur level, and then they move on to become professional footballers. So if you want the same trend to continue, you want those players to be seen again, to produce the likes of Musa Barrows and Hassan Cisses, obviously, and the likes of Ali Sow, who also used to play for Gamtel. Yes, it starts with the First Division. So I think there should be that sense of ownership, that sense of belonging, people loving their league, because that's where it's all starts before these players go outside to play professional football. So I think that's also kind of the center of attraction.
Well, Mamadou, yes, very good games in the league. I think both second and first division. Yeah, your take?
I think, like Gajaga said, if we look at the first division right now, where the league is, you will know that the league is improving, because in those days, you hardly see people going outside, but now, sometimes you will be at the field seeing scouters sitting, watching players, and after the match, you will see scouters talking to players. That can also tell that the league is going, because if the league is not producing players, scouters cannot leave their areas to come in the Gambia to scout. If you see them coming to the Gambia, it's because of the players that the league produce. That's why they are leaving, they are coming to the Gambia to scout. So that is also another thing that take the league to another level.
Well, I think, yes, coming back to, I think the agents are, of recent we have seen a lot of agents, football agents coming to the Gambia. Yes.
Yes, it's level of talent. If you have a player, like I said previously, Musa Barrow, who before moving to Saudi used to play in the Italian Serie A. You have a player like Omar Colley before moving to Turkey also used to play in the Italian Serie A. That's good marketing for Gambia. So if you have a player like Yankuba Minte, signed by Newcastle, but currently on loan at Feyenoord, Rotterdam, that's also another good advertisement for Gambian football. So they look at this talent, they say, oh, you know what? I think we need to go to this country and look at some of these talents. And some of these footballers that I've named played in the league, some of them straight into the European football. Yes.
The likes of Adam
the likes of Yankuba Minde, it was a short period when he left the Gambia to Denmark, and then from Denmark, now, you know, being spotted by Newcastle scouts, and after being signed, then they send him on loan. So the likes of Ablai Jallow, who used to play in the league for Real de Banjul before moving to Generation Foot in Senegal, and then later being tapped by Metz in the French League On. So that definitely tells you that, there is talent in the Gambian football, and those talents, obviously, agents, scouts have their eagle eyes all over the place, so they will be watching for these players.
And Mamadou, like he make mention, we have seen giant teams or big teams in the first division struggling to survive. I mean, is it because of the amenity of the new clubs, or what's your take before Gajaka came?
I think the competition also lead because a new team come with power and good players, and there is, they come and compete. The old team in the league can also lead that, because if the league big teams feel that they are already cement themselves at the league, they did not go through good recruitment, can also cause it. Because if you look at BST Glassy, they are a new team in the league with a good players. You have TMT, good players. Now the likes of Brikama United, they have players, but their performance is not up to expectation. But because people want to see them at the top, they are now at the relegation zone fighting for relegation. And not because of they are not having players, but I think management also can also play role in that. Because we see Real de Banjul at the top with good players. You cannot say a team in the Gambia without good players, because you go to Walidan who are struggling, you can name good players because they have been producing players. You see Mane who signed for, is it other
in Denmark. Yeah.
Denmark.
No, not Denmark. Is it Switzerland?
Yeah.
Or Sweden? Not long ago.
Okay.
It's from Walidan, and also a lot of them from in Walidan, but they are struggling. But I think the management have a role to play in that.
Yeah. Well, I think, like you said, I think Brikama United is fighting for survival. Gajaga, your take, and for instance, we've seen a couple of Gambian, especially the executive of GFF buying clubs, and then we have seen new emanation of new clubs and all that stuff. And yes, and then clubs that were there are now struggling to survive, or etc.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of factors. One, finance really plays a big role. The Walidan before, under Obi Konate, and the Walidan now, I think there's a huge difference. And if you look at the players also, generation changes. Some of the players have passed their peak. Maybe the new players that they brought into the team have not gelled well, or they have not, performing to expectation. In the case of Brikama United every year, even when they do their recruitment, they get players to play for them in the first division in that competition. They end up losing some of their top players to other teams. If you look at Real de Banjul, there are at least 2 or 3 Brikama United players top, who used to help them in fighting for the league title. They left the team because they want better revenue. They want better opportunities as well to go and play for Real de Banjul. So that affects the team. Before you replace those players, it definitely takes a lot of time. And even if you replace the players, maybe they are not up to the quality of the players that you left, or the players that you sold to your opponents or to your rivals. So that's very, very difficult. I think that's kind of a transition that Brikama United are going through. Yes, they have players, but the players, I don't think are good enough when it comes to competing for the league title. Yes, for the first round, at this moment, they're fighting for survival. Every week is bad results consistently. This is not good for a team like Brikama United. And I am afraid if they cannot stem this, if they cannot remedy it coming into the second round, and if they get relegated to the second division, it's going to be very, very difficult, because in the second division is very, very competitive out there.
Before you come. All right. Okay, we're going to close chapter on that. Of course, if you're not following the Gambian First Division League, please follow, and then you will see exciting footballers and talent. Before we go for a break, the secondary school sports a couple of days ago held a press conference at the Teachers Union opposite MDI in the Gambia, and they unveiled their 2024 action plan, which is coming to be a secondary school sport. And of course, in that, of course, though we will leave you with the videos of there, because Babukar Nanisi was the press officer. And of course, we have Lamin Jami as the Secretary General. And of course, we have Abdul Karim C, who is now the manager of competition, together with the president. They talk a lot about it, and this year, one of them is the changes of the qualifiers. They used to be 2 from each region, and then now the qualifiers are going to be 3, and which is going to be a semi-final and a final. And this weekend they are starting, which is just to remind you that this weekend, which is on starting on Friday the 2nd, they will be starting their activity, the hits, which is going to start at the way in URR, and then they will from URR, which will combine with CRR, and then now NBR with LRR will be held out there in Farafeni, and then you have the West Coast, etc., will be held in Bottrop. And this is some of the things that they did talk about. Before the video, 1 or 2, you want to say a little bit on that, although you missed the press conference. But I think it's going to be exciting one moment.
Yeah, it is going to be an exciting activity, because whenever schools gathered, you will see talent. And in the Gambia, not only football, but also athletics. I witnessed last year at Bottrop, where the defending champions or schools that used to be champions were suffering in the hand of the new schools, because where Bottrop, Mahad, St. Peter's, you can name them, are just suffering. Jamisa, where at the top of their form, any event they went for, they come out first or second, which even end of course in some little chaos between.
Well, what are we going to strategize that more, because we don't have time. I'm just telling you, we have a very interview, and that reminds me, there were teams that are school that were banned, most of them. But when Abdul Karim Chief take over, we'll give you that video. He pardoned all of them because he came to restructure everything. Quickly on that before we go for the break.
Yes, inter-schools has always been very interesting, competitive, and also a lot of fanfare when it comes to the schools. And this is at the grassroots level. This is where the Guinea Bass and also Adama Jame, the Ismailas, and some of the top athletes of the Gambia who are representing us at the international level came through. So we're looking forward to another inter-schools competition. First, it starts with the East, like you said, at the regional level, and from the East we will have the semi-final, and then from the semi-final to the final, which is going to be competitive. Looking forward to it.
That is it. Meanwhile, the last hits before the finals will be a little bit late before March, which is the Ramadan coming. So they decide to push the final until after Ramadan. But like I said, more on that. This is the video that we took from the press conference. Do enjoy it. Thank you.
So this year, like I said, the qualifiers are going to be increased, and then also, different regions, like he alluded to, the West Coast region is going to going home with more qualifiers than any other region, due to the number of participating schools from West Coast region, and that is definitely fair. West Coast region every year used to have more participating schools than any other region. Sometimes the number of schools that participate, upper basic and senior secondary schools, will be very close to 60 or 60 plus schools. So as compared to other schools, so that is why we decided to give them 4 slots when it comes to qualifiers, and then also other regions 3 slots. So we have all the regions like the NBR and LRR, the two of them together is 3 slots, and then URR and CRR also together is 3 slots. And then whilst KM, that is Region 1, is also 3 slots.
We have met all our colleagues. We have highlighted the issues. We have expressed the plans that we want for the primary school athletic championship on the 18th of February. We have also discussed with our colleagues in the regions the preparation for this year championship. We are starting on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th this weekend in Basse for the regional finals for regions 6 and Region 5, Basse being the host. The following weekend, we will be in Farafenye for North Bank and LRR schools. The following week, 13 to the 17, we will be in Bottrop for West Coast schools. And from the 21st to 25th, we will be either in Abuko or if the stadium is available at the stadium for Greater Banjul schools.
Thank you so much, viewers. Welcome back to the Atlantic Sport 360 Live. After the break, like I informed you earlier, we are here every Sunday from the hour 8 to 9 o'clock and give you the best of sports. As you know, I'm the host, Big Sam, and my co-host, Mamadou, my Fulham man. And of course, Mamadou Gajaga, I'm so happy that he's here with me today. Well, the final part of this today's sport program is will be more centered on my guest, that is Mamadou Gajaga. As I inform you, a sports journalist, been there for quite a while, and of course, obviously right now working for Gambia QTV. Gajaga, this is going to be a little bit, although Mamadou will be, but it's going to be a little bit on you. Mamadou Gajaga, we've been seeing you on QTV, maybe New Reading News, but most especially is on the sports side. Who is Mamadou Gajaga? Tell my viewers a little bit about Gajaga.
Yes, Big Sam, I might be looking big on television, but this is just a little man from somewhere in Kercherno, Opanyomi. That's my native village. That's where I was born, but resident in Brikama since 1997. Then I've been to school. You know, sports has always been my passion. Listening to radio is one of my hobbies, a habit that I picked up from my dad. And, you know, I'd always want to become a journalist. And here am I today, I'm a journalist. And, you know, small journalist still. I know, you know, people who say, oh, okay, you're one of the best, you are, but I don't put that in my head. Yeah. For me, I'm still learning. You learn every day. And yeah, so far I've had some experiences of traveling and all of that, and I think we will get into all that.
Okay, thank you for that. And when you graduated from school and then you take the journalism as a passion, especially sport, can you tell us some of the institute that you passed through before QTV?
If there is one person who has once, or like being among the first persons to give me a microphone, is the man who just asked me that question, Big Sam International. FMB. This was late 2007 to 2008. I remember my first time at the Canal Multipurpose Youth Center, that is SSP, football final, you know, at the genius level. Then you used to have your boy, Senator, that is Hafalilu Janko, who now works at GRTS. He's one of the news presenters in Mandinka, and also, you know, he sometimes does entertainment programs on radio. You know, I came there, I said, I am interested, I want to be part of your team. I want to become a journalist like you people. I listen to your commentaries and all of that. So I started, you know, sending text messages. Sometimes you would invite me on the show. Yeah. So from FMB, yes, and, you know, I moved on, became a newspaper reporter. I reported for the Standard newspaper for some years. And then I also worked at Afri Radio between 2014 to 2018. And in the interval also, I work at Africa Online TV for at least 6 months or so. So since then I moved to QTV from February 1st, 2018 to date.
Well, there you go, a very good one, you know, from him. Thank you for that. Okay, away from that, couple of years, Gajaga was awarded as the best sports journalist in the nation. Well, I will not I have to do justice here. And that day was a very emotional day when I saw my boy being called out there as the best. And the most surprising part, Gajaga bring that trophy to me and said, Sam, this is you that I named. And that was so touching. How do you feel about that award out of the Gambia? And then you was asked the award. Yeah.
It reminds me of the day, I remember when you and I used to be at the Brikama Community Radio back then doing sports. So people will call when we open the phone lines. ko alin diamu nyinga jaga ya kamo diatal baraka diamu le ko muso ala fa ya kamo sikandi domandi kamo diatal baraka diamu le. So I reflected back back in the days. I am very nervous. I'm a shy type.
Sure.
You know, even in public I wouldn't speak, I wouldn't say anything. Even if there is a meeting, I would just say, oh, whatever you guys said, I agree.
I agree.
I'm not gonna say a word. So that transitioned, it changed. I've started having confidence in myself that I can do this. I kept on practicing. And that year, I wasn't surprised. When I sent in my submission to the Gambia Press Union panel of judges, I knew I was going to win it. I had this basketball documentary. It was about using basketball to discourage illegal migration at the time. And this was organized by Mohamed Njai, the founder of Hope Basketball Academy.
Exactly.
So, and he said the name Hope is to give youths the opportunity of giving them hope, because for him, he tried. He wanted to become an NBA player. He even went as far as China, but things couldn't materialize for him. But he created that academy, that Hope Academy, for the young ones. So I captured every moment of it, interviewed him, went to the academy, their training and all of that, highlighted everything. So when I submitted, I knew I was going to win it that year.
So that was a masterpiece.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't surprised at all.
Yeah. And then the emotion at the place that they was electrified.
Yes, it was unbelievable. So that's why when I got the trophy and the award, I had to come to you and say, you know, Delonjukal, as they say in Wolof.
That win, you know, and that was beautiful. Mamadou will come, but now after that, Gajaga, you have opportunities travel, notably you cover the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. Then you were in Berlin for I think that was the
Special Olympics.
The Special Olympics, they call it Special Olympics. And of recent AFCON 2023 in Cote d'Ivoire. How was the atmosphere like in Birmingham on the Commonwealth Games? Of course, you visited your team, that is Old Trafford. But how was the atmosphere?
Yes, it's been a fantastic, I would say, a roller coaster of traveling and events as well. I'll go as far back as 2021 when I went to the United Arab Emirates, Dubai.
Dubai, yes.
The Dubai Big Sam, I cannot imagine when Dubai is being shown on the news and on television, the skyscrapers and also the beautiful roads and how beautiful Dubai is. Imagine me being there. No, I couldn't believe it. Yes, when I left the Banjul International Airport and then I went via Turkey, Istanbul, had a long layoff there, and then proceeded to the Dubai International Airport. Once I got into the Dubai city, you know, it's like the JJC thing, man. Yeah, looking around buildings and everybody. Yeah. So it was a fantastic opportunity for me, and I've learned a lot. Interacted with a lot of people on the outside world, and it has given me the opportunity to learn how things are done outside the Gambia, outside your comfort zone. So then I went to Dubai with the Gambia National Women's volleyball team who were there for a training camp for 10 days. And then Birmingham came 2022. I applied as a journalist to cover the competition. I was accredited, you know, went through all the process and went to the United Kingdom in Birmingham for 2 weeks. So that Commonwealth Games is one of the biggest events, sporting events that I've ever covered as a journalist. There also, my concentration was about Gambia, Gambian athletes, the Gambian delegation. You know, we competed in volleyball, we also competed in athletics. So we also competed in boxing, as well as judo, and even swimming. So I interviewed them, you know, showcasing Gambia. My main focus, yes, it's an international event, but for me, I just want to showcase Gambian talent, you know, Gambian presence to the outside world. So I think people appreciated it. And from Birmingham, last year, that's in June, I went to Berlin. Yes, for the Special Olympic World Games. Special Olympics is a sport for people living with intellectual disability. Some of them, when we see them in the streets, you know, we mock them, we chastise them, we call them names. But these are people who have brains. These are people who also, you know, they are like everyday persons. Yes, they have a disability like everyone else, because in one way or the other, one person has a disability. It depends on how serious your disability is. So they organized this sporting competition for them, and they went there. They did the Gambia proud. Anna Marie Baji, and also another athlete who also competed in that event. So from there, the Africa Cup of Nations, which is the biggest of all.
Yeah.
I still couldn't believe it. Yes.
Oh yeah, there you go. Mamadou, anything before, because we're coming to talk about AFCON, because he was there as a reporter, and then we see what happened though they are back, and some of a little bit on that. Do you have anything before?
Mamadou, I know the journey of being a journalist is not easy. Can you tell the viewers your difficulties or the challenges you face in the field of journalism since the beginning to date?
Yes, one of the difficulties is about the profession. If you're looking for money, I think you leave journalism and go look for something else because you're not going to get money. That's huge money.
Yeah.
Yes, that will take me back in the days, the struggle, Big Sam. Big Sam, I'm over $25 pass. Like, I'm going to pass, man. Well, credit agenda. So all those things happened, you know. So the journey has been very, very rough. It's been difficult and all of that. But if you continue to fight, you continue to believe, you continue to be determined and resilient, you want to give your best, you are never deterred by those challenges.
Yeah.
In fact, they inspire you, they give you belief, they give you the dream that you can do it, so you continue. So that's exactly what I did, despite all the challenges that I faced, but I continued. I said, I am not going to stop.
The second thing is, you have been to Dubai and also in Germany, Berlin, and Birmingham. What is when you have faced many journalists, big journalists, how was your interactions with those journalism for the first time you met them?
Yeah, when I meet them, introduce myself, they look at me, look at my age, because some of those events, when you go there, you see people who are maybe twice older than you sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, people who have 3-4 decades of experience in journalism. So I try to share my experience with them. They appreciate it, you know, they show me some guides as to how to go about things. And I share my experience as well. Some of them, they do appreciate within this short period what I've achieved and what I've gone through and things that I've learned as well. So most of them, you know, without bragging, Big Sam will say, I love your voice.
Yeah.
I can listen to you whole day and I, you know, will never feel bored about listening to you. So I think that's quite a good experience.
Yeah.
How do you feel covering those games?
Yeah, it's an opportunity, and you know that opportunity gives you the chance to connect with the world, the chance to connect with top people, top athletes around the world. In Birmingham, I was able to meet some top athletes. I saw them in person, especially the Jamaican athlete, the fastest woman in the world, that is Elaine Thompson. We even had a picture. I posted it, I think, somewhere on my Instagram or somewhere. Yes, exactly. So it gives you that opportunity to have the opportunity to connect with people who the ordinary person will definitely struggle to meet them or have at least 1 or 2 words with them.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mamadou. Now, let's go to the nitty-gritty of what we are. That is the African Cup of Nations 2023 in Cote d'Ivoire. Well, we are in 2024, but we say 2023. As you know, COVID make everything difficult. You will play in a year, but you will say the following year. So basically, it's supposed to be, by virtue of the competition, it's supposed to be in 2023, not 2020. That's why it's still called African Cup of Nations 2023, not 2024. So I want you to feed my audience, or rather my viewers, you were there as a journalist. Take us through, and especially we know big teams have crashed out. Gajaga will tell you history that the teams that make it to the quarterfinals, the last episode, none of them are in fact at the quarter. They play the group stage. Now we play the round of 16. It's the quarterfinals that is coming up. Gajaga, the floor is yours on the AFCON.
Yes, great experience, Big Sam. This is one of the best experiences that I've ever had in my journalism career. Getting to Cote d'Ivoire to cover my first Africa Cup of Nations, it has always been my dream. as a little kid, 5-year-old boy in 1992, Senegal 92. I
Yes.
watched it on black and white television. I still vividly remember the final was between Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire.
Cote d'Ivoire.
And, Ghana lost the final on penalty shootouts. Cote d'Ivoire, that was their first AFCON that they won before they again won it for the second time in 2015. So it was quite an experience when we got there, looked at the city, how it's been built, how developed they are, and also the stadium. Cote d'Ivoire put up one of the best AFCONs, arguably. Maybe people who traveled to Ghana 2008, people who traveled to Mali 2002, Tunisia 2004, can do the comparisons. But as far as I am concerned, Cote d'Ivoire definitely staged a very, very good AFCON. Aside from the weather, which maybe I will complain about because, people who know me, I sweat a lot. I find it very difficult when it is extremely hot. I think they've put up a very, very good competition. And talking about the teams, Big Sam, no surprise, and comparing it to the Africa Cup of Nations in Cameroon, which was Gambia's first qualification, going as far as the quarterfinals, none of those quarterfinalists, all 8, they all crashed out of the Africa Cup of Nations, either at the group stage or in the round of 16.
Wow.
It is like from Cameroon, it is a fresh 8 in the quarterfinals.
In the quarterfinals.
Yes.
Totally.
Totally. All 8 teams haven't made it into the last AFCON's last 8. Yes, exactly. So quite a very, very competitive level of African football if you look at it. And also a record number of goals scored at this stage of the competition.
Wow.
Last time the record goals was 103 goals. This time around, as we speak, 102 already, and we are going into quarterfinals. We will go into semifinals, and then we will go into the finals. And as little as you can expect, at least in these matches, there would be maybe another 2 or 3 or 4 goals.
Most definitely.
Exactly.
Most definitely.
So it's been very competitive.
Take us through with the teams, because we see the emanation of some of the new countries that came and then apply, and then here they are. Talk of the Equatorial Guinea, talk of the Mauritania, talk of the some of these even South Africa that have many of the national people that are playing in South African league there themselves.
They've been one of the teams in the competition that have been very impressive. South Africa, if you look at their starting lineup that played against Morocco are pre-tournament favorites. Not only pre-tournament favorites, they are World Cup semi-finalists. They represented Africa. They're the first African team to reach the World Cup semi-final in 2022 when, they knocked out, of course, Portugal, to everyone's surprise, reaching that quarterfinal and then getting into the semi-final stage where they were beaten by France, the finalists, who obviously Argentina won the World Cup. So looking at that Morocco team, you're having South Africa. In that South Africa's starting 11, 9 of the players play for Mamelodi Sundowns in the South Africa Premier Soccer League. That would definitely surprise you. The South African League is very, very competitive. If you know Mamelodi Sundowns, just a few years ago, they won the CAF Champions League. Not only that, CAF came with a competition called the African Super League. That first edition is won by Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa.
Wow.
So it tells you that they are very, very competitive. The league and the South Africans also have been determined. You remember the Russia World Cup in 2018?
Yes.
South Africa almost qualified. But guess what happened? In the final playoff, they played against Senegal. They defeated Senegal over 2 legs. And South Africa were already in the World Cup. Senegal filed a complaint to say that the referee was bribed. There was match manipulation. And they were able to prove it. The match was repeated for the first time in the history of football, as far as I am concerned. The result of the game was annulled, replayed, Senegal won, and then Senegal went to the World Cup instead of South Africa. So South Africa have been living through that pain. And of recent also, in one of the AFCONs, they even completely missed out. They didn't even qualify. So they've been building their team. So for me, I wasn't surprised when they knocked out Morocco. And Morocco, with all the investment in their football and the star players that they have, when South Africa was 1-0, then, Morocco had the opportunity to get the equalizer late in the game. Ashraf Hakimi placed his penalty over the bar. It was quite unbelievable. You look at other teams, like you said, Cape Verde, they've been qualifying to AFCON consistently in recent years, but have not been doing well. But this time, their performance have been fantastic. Teams like Equatorial Guinea, before they were knocked out by their fellow namesake, that's Guinea, by a 0-0. That was like the last kick of the game.
Yeah, the last.
It was an unbelievable game. Equatorial Guinea, shocked Cote d'Ivoire. They beat them, the host, 4-0. You just cannot imagine that kind of a scoreline. And against Nigeria, it was 1-1, and they also beat Guinea-Bissau in the group's phase. So that really tells you that AFCON has been very, very competitive. The so-called minnows no longer exist. A team like Mauritania, they've been going to AFCON consistently recent years, but haven't won a game. But that has changed. Mauritania had gone there, and this time reached the last 16 stage. Although narrowly, they also lost in the last 16 stage, and they got knocked out. But definitely, it shows that this has been one of the best AFCONs ever in terms of competitive level, in terms of the goals, in terms of the matches that's been played. We come to the case of the Gambia. Gambia, Cameroon. No, you think like you're watching Champions League football.
Yeah, obviously.
It's been end to end.
End to end.
At one point, it looks like Cameroon is, okay, game over, they've won it already. That's when they scored the first goal. Then Gambia equalized. Then Gambia went on to score another goal again. Then, Cameroon equalized. Then eventually Experience, overpowered some brilliant football as well. Cameroon eventually won it. So it's been a great AFCON for me.
Two matches stands out. You mentioned about one, which is South Africa, Morocco. In fact, Morocco were the first team to arrive in Cote d'Ivoire.
Yes.
In fact, they're supposed to play with Gambia, but that was because they said they're going and then they have everything set for themselves. But that was a surprise. But another surprise here is, some will not call it. People like Gajaga are not surprised. Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire. After Cote d'Ivoire were virtually out. That's why when Morocco defeated, it was Cote d'Ivoire that was celebrating because that made them to come in the competition. And look, all of that, they were dedeki. In our local language. Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, many thought it was not going to be like that way. But I know you have a different view. Tell us a little bit about that game.
Yes, that game, Senegal played against a Cote d'Ivoire team that was dead, and then they resuscitated themselves back into the competition because other results in other groups went in their favor, like the Morocco win that you were talking about.
Exactly.
So that brought them back into the competition. Even with 3 points, they qualified as one of the best third-place teams in the competition. That's the four that would join the rest. That's the top group winners, the first and the second. Cote d'Ivoire in history have been better than Senegal. They've always beaten Senegal in competitive matches. In fact, there is this famous match where they defeated Senegal in Dakar 3-1. The Senegalese supporters were so angry. They were not happy with their team's performance. There was hooliganism and violence at the stadium. Part of the stadium was burnt. And, they even threatened to attack their players. All those things happened. So in history, Cote d'Ivoire has had a better head-to-head record against Senegal, especially when it comes to competitive matches. For me, I wasn't surprised at all. Yes, the game kick-started, 4th minute, Habib Diallo scored, fantastic goal, brilliant assist from Sadio Mane. But from then on, it's been all Cote d'Ivoire. The energy level wasn't the they attack with intensity, they eyeing for goal, looking for shots, looking for opportunities to how to break the Senegalese team. And I think even before they got that late penalty, and which forced the game into extra time, they had several opportunities to score against the Senegalese team during that regulation time. Eventually, the penalty came, it paid off, substitute Kessié scored, and then, forced the game into extra time. And in that extra time, also, Cote d'Ivoire continued with that same pace. Yes, Senegal made some changes. Aliou Cissé tried to bring some strategies, but it couldn't work. Eventually, they've gone into the penalty shootout, and you know, this time it's Cote d'Ivoire that prevailed. So it wasn't a surprise for me.
It was in.
Yeah.
Do you have anything before we, because time is closing on us?
I just have one question to ask.
Yeah, yeah.
Gajaga, you have been to Birmingham and Africos. How will you compare these competition in terms of organization?
Yes, that's a very difficult one, because I think when I went to Birmingham, is one of the best organizations that I've seen. And then I also went to Berlin. I've seen how the Germans organize that competition as well. But you know, those ones you have athletics and other sports, but this one is strictly football.
Football, yeah.
Yes, Cote d'Ivoire, Big Sam, the 6 stadia that they put up, the road network, infrastructure in general, the lights, the hotels, the accommodation, almost everything is top notch.
Wow.
And in terms of security as well. For me, I'll pick Cote d'Ivoire as one of the most organized sports competition that I've ever attended.
Yeah, well, that is it. Of course, Gajaga, anything that you will add on before your final word from our viewers?
Yes, Big Sam, I want to say that for Gambian football to thrive, let government, the private sector invest in sports. Let's try to improve our infrastructure. We don't have much, but under the circumstances, if we want to compete with other nations, if we want to get the best results in sports, football in particular, we have to invest in infrastructure. And that the government also has to see football not as a leisure, but as a business enterprise. You invest in it, it's an expensive venture, it's gonna cost you in the millions, not all millions of dollars, but maybe millions of dollars, but the reward would come in at least few years.
That's right. That's very, very true. Finally, thank you for coming. I'm so elated that you are here today. For my viewers, what's the final word for you today on this episode?
It's always a pleasure. I've watched some of your episodes online, and I think it's been a brilliant show. You know, the last one that was uploaded, the number of views would tell you that this is a very interesting program. And looking forward to another appearance on this show.
Of course,
and we say greetings to all the viewers, everyone who is watching. Keep on sporting.
Thank you very much, Mamadou. Finally, we're done for today.
I will thank the viewers for watching, and I will also appeal them to continue watching, because this platform is for them, not for us. I will continue to appeal to them. Let them try and follow our program always.
Thank you very much, viewers. We've come to the end of the road. They say every new thing must come to an end, and everything must come to an end. Well, it's been a brilliant one today, which is our Atlantic Online Sport 360 Live every Sunday, 8 to 9. Big thank to you viewers out there. Like Gajaga did mention, your viewing and your likes and comments, we definitely appreciate it. And for sponsors, you are very, very invited in our studios right here. Meanwhile, we're broadcasting from the little smiling coast of the Gambia and the western or west coast region side, which is in our studios here in Farat, or west coast region. Well, once again, big thanks to my camera people out there, the engineers, thank you very much, the management, the entire people, and of course you out there that makes it happen. And of course, I owe this big special thanks to my guest here today, Mamadou Gajaga, who come and give us everything that we need to know. And of course, he will be coming to this too as we progress. Well, on that note, thank you so much from me, Big Sam, Atlantic Online Sport 360. As always, keep on sporting. Bye-bye.